Buck-breaking was a heinous punishment inflicted upon enslaved men in the American South during the 18th and 19th centuries. It was also prevalent in the Caribbean. It specifically targeted African male slaves, referred to as bucks, and was widely perpetrated by both slave owners and merchants. This vile method involved subjecting enslaved men to brutal and public abuse, often in the presence of fellow enslaved women, children, and the entire community. The primary aim of buck-breaking was to assert control over enslaved men, reinforcing the hierarchy of slavery and stripping them of their dignity. This abhorrent practice was a tool for inflicting trauma and instilling fear, serving as a deterrent against any notions of resistance or rebellion within the enslaved community. To break the buck, slave masters would use physical and psychological methods to subdue and control the enslaved person. Enslaved men would be beaten with whips and paddles, often to the point of severe injury or death. In addition to whipping, enslaved men were also subjected to other forms of physical abuse, such as branding, mutilation, and forced penetration.
Part 3, let's go. In his letter, The Making of a Slave, William Lynch urged slave owners to emasculate their male slaves with violence. This punishment, called buck-breaking, was one method that slave owners used not to only emasculate black men, but to violate them and to establish dominance and control over them. Slave owners would force the slave to undress outdoors in front of his children, his wife, and the other slaves. The slave owner would then proceed to flog the enslaved African man with a tree stump. This was done to weaken him so that when he is being raped by the master in front of everyone, he is weak and unable to defend himself. The slaves who endured this punishment ended up either killing themselves or running away and being murdered.
The Caribbean, they had seasoning plantations, which were plantations used to break the slaves. And one plantation, or one place that had a lot of seasoning plantations, was Jamaica. And people have to wonder, what were they doing on these seasoning plantations that was worse than what was happening on the regular plantations? Well, one thing that they were doing on these plantations, especially in Jamaica, they were doing a process called buck breaking, where the white supremacist slave owner or the white supremacist overseer would literally rape black men in front of the whole black population in order to break his spirit, in order to break him down as a man, in order to show dominance against him, in order to show the rest of the black population that this is not your leader. I just made your leader submit to me sexually. And this happened a lot in Jamaica. This is why homosexuality is so looked down upon in Jamaican culture today.
And it was a way primarily of cutting down those who
At one point, there were documents where the U.S. government took audio recordings during the 1930s and the 1940s of black people who were former slaves. And a lot of them recalled during slavery, they were degendered to a certain degree, meaning that their individual sexuality was not recognized. The black boys and girls were all treated interchangeably. And a lot of the black males, when they were children, they said that they had to wear dresses. They would put everybody in dresses. And that was a way to degender and to dehumanize a group of people. If you don't look at them as a gender or what their gender is, and you just make them interchangeable, you can dehumanize them to a certain degree. And that was a very common thing during slavery, the degendering of black people.
So what in the dickens is going on here then? Yeah, as Charlize Theron has dressed her two boys as girls. And my thing is, if she just wanted girls, then why not just adopt two girls rather than torment these two boys with this nonsense? You know what I mean? Now, I read the article, and it states in the article that they were the ones who, or should I say the oldest son, should I say, was the one having tantrums about how he wants to dress as a girl, blah, blah, blah. You're not selling me on that one, because at the end of the day, these are young children. They're still trying to grasp multiplication and long division, yeah? I don't think they've really got time to be thinking about their orientation, if you know what I mean. Yeah. So based on that now, I'm going to be real flippant here, yeah, and give my, let's say, 2 pence on this situation. So let's say that Charlie Theron's gone shopping one day and she's gone to buy a dress for herself. And she's gone, do you like this dress? And they've gone, yes, mummy. And then she's gone, do you like this dress? And they've gone, yes, mummy. And then she said, would you like this dress? And they've gone, yes, mummy. Oh, there. The rest is the rest.
Did you know that Black enslaved men also endured sexual violence by both white men and women on the plantation? Here's the history. Buckbreaking was a practice of sodomizing Black enslaved men by the enslaver or other white men for being disobedient or defiant. This practice was meant to humiliate, intimidate, and strip these men of everything. It was also meant to be an example to other enslaved people of what could happen to them or their children if they too were disobedient. What would happen is these men would be stripped naked, tied down, beaten, raped in front of their children, their wives, friends, those other enslaved on the plantation. Sometimes they would be raped by one person or multiple persons, usually friends of their enslavers. White women were also involved in sexual violence against enslaved Black men. So they would have sexual relations with these enslaved men, and based on power dynamic, this is sexual assault. Sometimes they would end up pregnant, and because this is extremely shameful, or would have been for them, their family, their husbands, they typically had abortions. This is history not shared, it's not talked about, but these are things that have happened.
This is the book of Obadiah, chapter 1, verse 10, and it reads, For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. All praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rahakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well in teaching us this 100% truth. Salutations to them and my fellow Akim who labor in this truth week in and week out on the highways and byways. Also salutations to the hopeful elect of the scattered 12 tribes of Israel, scattered to the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, also known as your Israelite foreigners, and your so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. To you, I say Shalom. This is your brother Ayashar Barazar from the Indianapolis branch of the Great Millstone, coming back at you with another lesson that is edifying to the elect body of the nation of Israel. Okay, this is yet another installment of our camps project called For Thy Violence Against Thy Brother Jacob. We're going throughout the history of this country, being on the soil of Babylon, the great, aka America, and all the atrocities that Esau Edom has committed against us. And you just saw footage, not so much actual footage of the most horrendous, one of the most horrendous things that Esau did to us. Is called buck breaking, and that entailed Esau Edom pretty much taking the largest and strongest Israelite, who most ignorantly called the African slaves, taking that Israelite and breaking him down to the point where he actually sodomized him in front of his family, and everyone else. So it would teach a lesson. Okay, but it was so bad, that his wife and children, lost respect for him, and to a point to where they they were never the same, and rightfully so. Committed suicide or ran away on purpose to be murdered rather than deal with that. But that has morphed in this day to a self-inflicted thing, and the buck breaking is still going on. You have celebrities like Charlize Theron, adopted two Jake males and converting them into what appears to be a female. You know, you have the self-willed ones, like the one, what's the RuPaul, Laverne Cox, Don Lemon. He's willfully, you know, being buck broken, on a continual basis, you know, by his Edomite partner, and it's just a terrible thing that Esau has done to us, So let me go ahead and get some scriptures based on those videos, and the other thing too, it wasn't just the whole sodomy thing that's against the law. You did in front of their families, and there was that's against the law, discovering the nakedness of your father. Okay, I think that's like in Leviticus 18:7. But let me give you the first account of that in the book of Genesis. That's regarding Noah and Ham. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 9, begin in verse 20. And it reads, Noah began to be an husband, and he planted a vineyard. Verse 21, and he drank of the wine and was drunken, and he was uncovered within his tent, meaning he was naked. All right. And he drank of the wine, so with the verse 21 again, and he drank of the wine and was drunken, and he was uncovered in his tent. Verse 22, and Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father and told his two brethren without. Okay. Verse 23, and Shem and Japheth took a garment and laid it upon their shoulders and went backward and covered the nakedness of their father, and their faces were backward, and they saw not their father's nakedness. So Shem and Ham knew what to do. Okay, you were not to discover your father's nakedness, which is in the law. All right, verse 24. And Noah awoke from his wine and knew what his younger son had done unto him. And he said, cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be unto his brethren. And he said, blessed be the Lord power, or Yahweh our power of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. So here it is right here, before the law was actually written, you were never to discover, you're not supposed to discover the nakedness of your father, which, that's what Ham did. And fast forwarding, when these Edomites did this to Jake in public, their kids were standing there, and they discovered the nakedness of their father, which, that not only was a sodomy having Jake going off, but the children discovering the nakedness of their fathers. Let me get that in the law. This is Leviticus Slakia 18:7, and it reads, the nakedness of thy father or the nakedness of thy mother shalt thou not uncover. She is thy mother, thou shalt not uncover her nakedness. All right, so yeah, you're not supposed to discover that. All right, that's that part. All right, slide down to Leviticus 18 and 22. And it reads, thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind. It is abomination. Abomination is a filthy, wicked act. But this is what Esau did publicly to Jake, And the whole sodomy thing is wrong too. All right. But he handled him like he was a woman. He emasculated him, They did the same thing in, when in Joel, I think it's Joel 3 and 6. They made a boy a harlot, if I recall. Let me grab that right quick and I'll come back to it. This is the book of Joel. Chapter 3. And I think verse 6. No. That wasn't it. Okay. Okay, yeah, verse 3. Slakia. Joel chapter 3, verse 3. And it reads, and they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine that they might drink. And if you've seen the movie Goodbye Uncle Tom, they show you that in that movie where the slave master is dressing up males as females, you know. You know, they didn't show it in the movie, but I'm sure he was doing some abominable things to those kids as well too, turning them out, breaking them down. All right, that's what he was doing. So yeah, there's another one that's like that. Leviticus 20, another precept, like 20 and 13, and it reads, if a man also lie with mankind as he lieth with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death, their blood shall be upon them. And you know, that's, even though it was forced, you know, that's the case of what went on. All right. Yeah, you know, we were giving it to our enemies, and you know that Esau, you know, he furthered that affliction, something terrible. You know, he did. And when we were, you know, still in captivity, but yeah, back then when you couldn't do nothing, you know, while you were in slavery, yeah, they had total control of what they were doing to Jake. All right, with respect to that buck breaking, you know, it's just abominable. You know, this is Deuteronomy 22 and 5. And it reads, the woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment. For all that do so are an abomination unto Yahweh thy power. And once again, you know, you saw that in one of the clips. You know, get Jake dressing up, the movie I just mentioned, Goodbye Uncle Tom, doing the same thing. You see it all in Hollywood. That's a so-called rite of passage for all of the actors. You know, you have to wear a dress, you know, be effeminized, you know, before you can get paid the big bucks, as they say. All right, basically selling out, you know, turning your back against the Lord and His laws, statutes, and commandments. All right, and we know according to Baruch 4:1, you know, if you keep the law, you're gonna live. If you turn away from it, you're gonna die. It's just that simple. You know, what's that? Proverbs. Forget which one. Who despises the law, destroyeth his own soul. You know. I think that's the Proverbs 3 and 31. Let me grab that. Proverbs 3 and 31. Is it? Nope, that's not it. Let's see here. Proverbs. Slakia, technology not being friendly with me in the wee hours of the morning. Okay. Proverbs. Law destroyeth. Law destroy. Oh man, it's the wee hours of the morning. destroy soul. Salakia. No, that's not it either. Despise. Proverbs 13:13. There we go. Okay. Whoso despiseth the word shall be destroyed, but he that feareth the commandment shall be rewarded. Okay. So yeah, this modern day Jakes, you have a chance to do your best to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. Okay. But you're despising it. Like I said, like the Don Lemons, the RuPauls, all those sodomites that's out there, doing the willful buck breaking. Okay. So yeah, they're out there, the willful ones. All right. And so the Lord just, he gave them over. But again, this has it's well rooted, from the days of slavery, to this very day. But like I said, in Hollywood, celebrities and stuff, they have definitely taken that on and have now become the face of it. So the Lord just go ahead and let them do it until that day of judgment comes. This the book of Romans, chapter 1. I'm going to start at verse 25, and it reads, 24. Wherefore, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai also gave them up to uncleanness through the lust of their own hearts, to dishonor their own bodies between themselves. And what is that dishonor? Same sex, the whole buck breaking thing. All right. Verse 25, who changed the truth of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai into a lie, and worshipped and served the creature more than the creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. So they went after their own lust, worship, what they had become, the creature, which was an abomination. Okay. More so than Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. All right. Verse 26. For this cause Yahweh Bashem Yahushai gave them up unto vile affections. Okay. For even their women did change the natural use into that which is against nature. That's woman on woman. Okay. Verse 27. And likewise also did the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, burn in their lust toward one another, men with men, working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves the recompense of their error, which was meat. Okay. Which, today you got those that four-letter acronym that begins with an A and ends with an S, which ultimately leads to death. Okay. That was one of those things. The recompense, the reward for, your error, which is meat. Okay. Verse 28. And even as they did not like to retain Yahweh Bashem Yahushai in their knowledge, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai gave them over to a reprobate mind to do those things which are not convenient, or those things that are not suitable for your intended purpose. That's man versus man. Okay, but not man versus man, but men with men, women with women. Okay, all stemming from that whole buck breaking thing. Okay, that was a terrible thing that they did. But like I said, fast forward to this point, it's willful with Jake. All right, as the Lord just said, he gave him over to a reprobate mind. All right, this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 2. and verse 33. And it reads, Why trimmest thou way to seek love? Therefore hast thou also taught the wicked ones thy ways. Now the very thing that they inflicted upon Jake and broke him down, Jake is willfully doing and now has become the face of it. Like I said in the prior video, that's why they added that black and brown to that pride flag. All right, because you're the face of it now, of their wickedness. We were commanded not to do these things. And that Leviticus, 18 and 1, the Lord said, do not repeat the things that the land I took you from, nor the things of the land that I'm taking you to, because they were all Hamites, okay? And Ham is known for that wickedness, all right? So yeah, this Jeremiah 2 and 33, you literally have become the face of it. But like I said, this is something that Esau pushed, with that one act, it is morphed into what it is today. But at that time, that was one of the means to get us further and further and further away from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. I mean, Esau is mad as hell about that birthright. But the Lord did not cast us away, all right? And he's going to deal with it, all right? This is the book of Zechariah. Chapter 1. And verse 15. And it reads, I am very Slakia, and I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease. For I was a little displeased, and they helped forward the affliction. Okay? So we were giving it to the hands of our enemies, but Esau, you took it too far, and now you're arrogant about it. That's what it means, you at ease for the stuff that you did to us, just completely, oblivious to the fact that you're going to have to pay for that one day, and that day is near, all right? And it's also in the scriptures. This is the book of Amos. Chapter 1, verse 11. And it reads, For thus saith Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. To this day, you've kept your wrath. All because of that birthright, that you sold, all right? You sold it to Jacob, and now you're mad about it, villain victim all over again, all right? Yeah, you like I said, for 3 transgressions, for 4, you just sin on top of sin on top of sin. That's why the scriptures call you the man of sin, all right? And you had no pity for Jake. No regard for, the damage what that buck breaking was going to do to his family, to him, just a terrible thing. All right, but you will pay. This is Ezekiel chapter 25, verses 12 through 14. And it reads, Thus saith Yahweh our power, because Edom hath dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance, and hath greatly offended and revenged himself upon them. Verse 13. Therefore thus saith Yahweh our power, I will stretch out mine hand upon Edom, and will cut off man and beast from it, and I will make it desolate from Teman, and they of Dedan shall fall by the sword. So yeah, you're going to get wrecked for what you did. Quick, fast, in a hurry. You are going to get wrecked. Okay. Verse 14. And I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel. That's all 12 tribes. And they shall do in Slakia, and they shall do in Edom according to mine anger and according to my fury. And they shall know my vengeance, saith Yahweh our power. All right. So yeah, you're gonna know by the hands of his people, Israel. You know, he's got a bone to pick with you, Esau, for what you did to us. You know, throughout history. How about Shem Yahushai is gonna fuck you up. You know, and we can't wait. You know, Esau Edom, so-called white man, the wicked, according to Malachi 1 and 4. All right, you got it coming. All right, because we're still in captivity. All right, and like talked about in Baruch 2 and 30, in the land of their captivity they shall remember themselves. Yeah, so we're still under your captivity, and there's a law on that. You know, if you're found, this is Exodus chapter 21 and verse 16, and it reads, "And he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall be surely put to death." Yes, we're in your hands, Esau Edom, so-called white man. We're in your hands. Going all the way back to that 3rd chapter of Joel, you know. Yep. Big payback is coming for you, Esau Edom. Major payback. Because we're definitely found in your hands. All right. And this is Ezekiel chapter 35. Verse 5 and 6. And it reads, "Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, a continual hatred, a non-stop hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword, and in the time of their calamity, and in the time of their iniquity had an end." Verse 6, "Therefore, as I live, saith Yahweh our power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. And since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee." So all these curses are going to be coming back on you. All right? All these curses. Now, we won't be doing the buck breaking thing. That's not righteous. But you will have a suitable punishment until it's time to take you off of the planet, which I'm going to get to. All right? So, yeah, you got a lot coming your way. The Esau Edom, a whole lot coming your way. All right. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 13. Salakia. Chapter 13. Beginning in verse 9. And it reads, "If any man have an ear, let him hear." That's if the man has understanding, okay? Verse 10, "He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity, and he that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the faith, Slakia, here is the patience and the faith of the saints." Okay, who are the saints? The Israelites, according to Psalms 148, verse 13 and 14. Okay, the Israelites are the saints. All right. And who was that who led into captivity, and who was that to kill with the sword? Esau Edom. You're right in the thick of it. You know, you're right in the thick of it, and you're gonna pay. All right. This is Revelation chapter 18, verse 5 and 6. And it reads, "For her sins have reached unto heaven, and Yahweh hath remembered her iniquities." So yeah, your tab is run up, you know. You haven't faced any judgment yet. You know, like the scripture says in Psalm 73 and 5, "He is not in trouble as other men, neither is he plagued like other men." Okay? You haven't been touched yet for all of your iniquities. But you're about to. Quick, fast, in a hurry. Okay? Verse 6, it says, "Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her works. and the cup which she hath filled, fill to her double. So you're going to get back everything you did to us. All right. It won't be directly the whole, we're going to do it in righteousness. Let's just put it that way. It's going to be done in absolute righteousness. All right. And we have very effective ways of doing that in righteousness. All right. So yeah, when you're in that slavery, you're going to serve it twice as long and twice as hard. And like I said, when that's over with, you're going to be eliminated from the face of the earth. All right. This is the book of Obadiah 1 and 18, and I'm going to close out after this. Obadiah 1 and 18. And it reads, and the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, because they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for Yahweh Bashem Yahushai has spoken it. All right, so yeah, it's a wrap for the nation of Esau Edom, a wrap for everybody. Unforgivable what you did to us, especially with respect to that buck breaking, in the old world and in the new one as well, what it's morphed into. All right. So with that, I hope this lesson was edifying for the elect body of the nation of Israel. Once again, I'm going to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rahak HaKadosh. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well in teaching us this 100% truth. Salutations to them and my fellow Akim who labor in this truth week in and week out on the highways and byways. Also salutations to the hopeful elect of the scattered 12 tribes of Israel, scattered to the four corners of the earth, that be like to the speckled bird, also known as your Israelite foreigners, and your so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. To you, I say Shalom, Kwam Yasharallah. We got next, and Esau Edom, you're going to pay in blood. Shalom.